Almost every driver has done this. You pull into a gas station, grab the nozzle, and start pumping. No hesitation, no second thought. But what if I told you that a handful of habits you do right before, during, or after refueling are silently damaging your car, costing you money at the pump, and in some cases creating a genuine safety risk? Studies from the American Petroleum Institute have flagged these behaviors for years, and yet 95% of drivers keep making them. One mistake alone can lead to a repair bill between $400 and $1,200 that your mechanic will absolutely never warn you about. So here are 10 refueling mistakes you need to stop making immediately. Let's begin now with mistake number 10. Mistake number 10. Leaving your engine running while you pump gas. You've probably seen this 100 times. Someone pulls up to the pump, leaves their car idling, hops out, and starts filling up. Maybe they want to keep the AC running on a hot day. It feels harmless. But here's what they don't tell you. When your engine is running, your fuel system is under active pressure, and your fuel vapor recovery system, the part that captures gas fumes and routes them back into the engine, is still cycling. Pumping fuel into a pressurized, actively operating system creates the real possibility of vapor ignition. The National Fire Protection Association has documented dozens of gas station fires traced back to running engines. Beyond the safety issue, it also confuses your car's onboard computer. Modern fuel injection systems use sensors to calculate the exact air-fuel mixture. If you're pumping fuel while the engine is measuring that system, you can trigger a false reading that sets off your check engine light. That light can cost you $80 to $150 just for a diagnostic scan at a shop, even when nothing is actually wrong. The fix is dead simple. Turn the key off completely, not just accessory mode, all the way off. 10 seconds of patience saves you from a potential nightmare. Trust me, this next one will shock you. Mistake number 9, topping off the tank after the pump clicks. The pump clicks. You squeeze the handle 1, 2, maybe 3 more times to round it up to a nice number. Almost every driver does this. It feels efficient. Here's the deal. It's one of the worst things you can do to your car's emissions system. Every modern vehicle since the mid-1990s has something called an EVAP system, short for Evaporative Emission Control System. There's a charcoal canister inside it that is designed to absorb and hold fuel vapors so they don't escape into the atmosphere. When you top off, that excess liquid fuel gets forced into the canister. The charcoal wasn't designed to handle liquid, only vapor. Once it's saturated with liquid fuel, it fails. Replacing that canister runs between $150 and $400 at most dealerships, and on some European vehicles like BMW or Audi, it can climb past $600. Here's the kicker. The EPA has tested and confirmed that the automatic shutoff on modern pump nozzles is calibrated to stop precisely when your tank reaches optimal capacity. When the pump clicks, it's done its job correctly. Squeezing past that click is literally forcing the system to fail. Stop at the click every single time. You'd be very much surprised by this next mistake. Mistake number 8, using the wrong fuel grade and assuming it doesn't matter. Your owner's manual says premium recommended. You've been filling it with regular for 3 years because premium costs 40 cents more per gallon and it hasn't blown up yet, so you figure it's fine. Here's how it actually works. Modern engines use a component called a knock sensor. When you put lower-octane fuel in an engine tuned for premium, the combustion process starts happening too early. This is called engine knock or pinging. The knock sensor detects it and retards your ignition timing to compensate. That sounds like the car is protecting itself, and it is, but at a cost. Retarding timing reduces horsepower and fuel efficiency. Studies by the AAA found that vehicles requiring premium but running on regular lost up to 3 API fuel economy and measurable horsepower. Do that for 50,000 miles, and you're talking real cumulative wear on your ignition system and pistons. Now, if your manual says premium recommended versus premium required, there is a meaningful difference. Recommended means the car will adjust, required means you genuinely risk damage. Check that manual once, and you'll never second-guess it again. But wait, if that hidden truth just changed how you think about fuel grades, this next mistake could be even more costly. Mistake number 7. Pumping gas while standing right next to the nozzle and touching your car repeatedly. Most people lean against their car or touch the door handle repeatedly while the pump runs. Here's what they don't tell you. Static electricity builds up on your body, especially when you slide in and out of a fabric car seat. The combination of static discharge near an open fuel port and gasoline vapor is exactly the scenario that causes pump fires. The Petroleum Equipment Institute has documented over 100 confirmed static-caused pump fires in North America. The correct habit is to touch a metal part of your car before you remove the fuel cap. This grounds you and discharges any static safely. If you have to get back in the car while pumping, touch metal again before you touch the nozzle when you return. It takes literally 1 second. This is especially important in cold, dry weather when static builds faster on clothing and upholstery. If you've made it this far, we really appreciate you hitting that like button. It helps us make more car tips videos like this one. Mistake number 6. Not checking the grade label on the pump before you grab the nozzle. This sounds almost too simple, but fuel contamination incidents happen thousands of times a year across the US. Gas station pumps are relabeled, repaired, and sometimes temporarily cross-connected during maintenance. Grabbing the green handle when you need the black one, or worse, accidentally using a diesel pump on a petrol engine, is not as rare as you'd think. Diesel in a petrol engine causes misfires, injector damage, and in severe cases, full engine seizure. Repairs start around $500 and can exceed $3,000 if the fuel reached the injectors before you caught it. The fix is to read the label every single time. Not just the color of the handle, because those can vary by station and country. Read the actual text on the pump face before you squeeze. 3 seconds of reading versus a potential $3,000 repair. Wait until you hear about this next one. Mistake number 5, filling up when the station's delivery truck is there. You pull into a station and there's a tanker truck parked at the side. The pumps are still open, so you figure why wait. Here's what's actually happening. When a tanker delivers fuel to underground tanks, it stirs up the sediment that has settled at the bottom of those tanks. That sediment, rust particles, water, and debris, gets churned into suspension and goes straight into the fuel that flows to the pumps for the next 30 to 60 minutes. Pumping that contaminated fuel through your system can clog your fuel filter within weeks instead of the normal 20,000 to 30,000 mile lifespan, and in worst cases, it gets into your fuel injectors. Injector cleaning services run $60 to $150, and injector replacement is $250 to $500 per injector. When you see a delivery truck, drive to the next station or come back in an hour. Simple. Now, for a mistake that almost no one talks about. Mistake number 4. Fueling up during the hottest part of the day. Fuel expands with heat. Gasoline is sold and measured as a liquid volume, but fuel density actually changes with temperature. When you fill up in the middle of a summer afternoon, when the ground temperature is high and the underground tanks are warmer, you're getting slightly less energy per gallon than if you'd filled up in the early morning. The EPA and fuel industry acknowledge this difference. It's not dramatic, you're not losing half a tank, but over a year of consistent midday summer fueling, studies estimate the average driver effectively loses the equivalent of 2 to 4 full tanks of fuel in energy value. Fill up in the morning or evening when temperatures are lower and fuel is denser. It's a free efficiency gain. Trust me, this next one catches almost everyone off guard. Mistake number 3. Ignoring the fuel cap condition. Your fuel cap is not just a lid. It contains a vacuum seal that maintains pressure in your fuel system and prevents vapor from escaping. When that seal wears out, and rubber seals do wear out, usually around the 60,000 to 80,000 mile mark, your check engine light comes on. Mechanics across the country report that a loose or worn fuel cap is one of the top 5 reasons for check engine light triggers. You pay $80 to $150 for a diagnostic just to be told to tighten or replace a $15 cap. Worse, some drivers keep ignoring the light because they assume it's something expensive, which means a real problem that develops later gets masked. Every time you refuel, give the cap a firm turn until you hear it click. And if your check engine light is on and you can't remember the last time you thought about the cap, start there before you schedule a $100 diagnostic. But wait, if that simple fix could save you a diagnostic fee, this next mistake could be draining your wallet every single week. Mistake number 2, not using a fuel system cleaner regularly. Over time, carbon deposits build up on your fuel injectors, intake valves, and combustion chamber. Modern gasoline has detergent additives by law, but they're not always enough to clean years of buildup. A clogged injector doesn't just reduce performance, it throws off the spray pattern, causing uneven combustion, reduced fuel economy, and higher emissions. A product like Chevron Techron or similar polyethylamine-based cleaner, used once every 3,000 miles, dissolves those deposits and restores the injector spray to factory spec. A bottle costs $8 to $12. Compare that to a professional fuel system cleaning service at a shop, which runs between $80 and $150. Or injector replacement at $250 to $500 per unit. Here's the kicker. A clean fuel system also improves your miles per gallon by 1 ETA to 3 AA, according to independent testing. Over a year of driving, That adds up to real money back in your pocket on every single fill-up. And now, mistake number 1, the one that gives this video its title, and the one that almost everyone is guilty of. Mistake number 1, refueling immediately after you've been driving hard. You've just come off a long highway stretch, or you've been running errands in stop-and-go traffic for an hour. Your engine is hot, your fuel tank is hot, and you pull straight into a gas station. Here's what they absolutely don't tell you. When your fuel tank is hot from an extended drive, the remaining fuel inside is already generating vapor. Your evap charcoal canister is working to manage those vapors. The moment you open the fuel cap on a hot tank, you release a concentrated burst of fuel vapor, and when you then pump more fuel into a thermally expanded system, you're overloading that vapor management system in the same way topping off does. But worse, you're also more likely to overfill because the fuel expands as it hits the hot tank walls. The combined effect, vaporized fuel loss, potential canister saturation, and overfill, is the single most damaging refueling habit a driver can have. And 95% of drivers do it constantly without ever knowing. The fix is to wait 10 to 15 minutes after parking before you open the fuel cap. If you're in a hurry, crack the cap slowly to release pressure, wait 30 seconds, then begin fueling. That small pause protects your evap system, gives you accurate fuel readings, and prevents vapor loss that's literally costing you fractions of a gallon every single fill-up. So there you have it. 10 refueling mistakes that are quietly costing you money, damaging your car, and in a couple of cases putting you at real risk. Now I want to ask you something specific. Which of these 10 were you already doing? Drop the number in the comments. Number 1, number 4? Let us know. It genuinely helps us understand what content to make next. If you want more practical car tips that save you money and keep your car running longer, subscribe to the channel. We post these every week, and most of what we cover is stuff your dealership hopes you never find out.